So if you have a host who kind of is a touring musician, international hardcore superstar, as Isaac calls himself. So, again, it's for us, it's definitely the process. So, when I'm starting a show, whether it's with Isaac or not, that's sort of my first thing. So I would definitely, start with is Danny going to be available or not, right? If he's available, then the kind of start the command of like, are we doing a guest? Who's that guest going to be? And then what are we covering? And then from there, once I kind of arrange everybody's schedule, like, okay, it's Monday night at whatever, here's the link. And then very much like our technical guys here, kind of get everybody on board and make sure everything's running. Once we get those episodes done, those to me are always like the like kind of easy ones, right? For me, the hardest part is filling in these gaps, right, in between our episodes. So again, we might go 2-3 months without an episode because, Isaac might be touring, he's in the studio, some other things. So one of the things that we came up with, which I had mentioned before, was kind of coming up with these sort of like supplemental episodes. So, something that maybe isn't as reliant as on a guest or isn't as reliant as having a Danny available to me, right? So it might be me grabbing a friend from a local band or even sometimes reaching outside of like our normal kind of circle, so if say we always are doing music stuff, it's like, okay, I might go with like a recording guy, or I might go with a zine publisher or an artist. And I found like doing that has helped keep the momentum, because again, like consistency is so important when you're doing these shows, staying on a schedule, especially to like not getting discouraged if the first few weeks or months or however much content you're doing isn't really getting the traction, right? Because what you want to make sure is that like when somebody like me discovers your show, that I can now go back and have weeks, months worth of content, right? So it's kind of really important, especially again for us, to just always have stuff out there because you never know. Like one of our biggest episodes has a rapper, Necro, very popular underground hip hop guy, right? So that episode is coming up for people consistently. If we didn't have any content past that or before that, it'd be really hard for somebody to kind of stay with us and stick with it, right? But so for that new fan, now there's going to be, 5 years worth of stuff, and now he'll have time to catch up, and there'll be all these little supplemental things. So again, try not to get too discouraged if in the beginning it's like, oh my God, I'm only getting, 20 downloads, 30 downloads. Because again, at least you have 30 people or 40 people who you can kind of begin to train and get consistent with you, right? And then it's like once you get that one guest or that one show and kind of kicks you into that stratosphere, it's really good to have all that stuff with you, so people can kind of go on that journey with your show and discover the whole kind of beginning and end, the beginning and the middle of stuff.
Jay, that advice is so valuable. And I know that not only our team, but the Evergreen audience is incredibly thankful for that. So thank you for walking us through that.
It's so true. I mean, like, again, I said this earlier, but think about the things that you like, whether it's a YouTube channel you like or a podcast, and see how they do it. And again, what are the things you like? You like that they're consistent. You love the production value. You love that when you're listening to somebody talk, the microphones are clear, right? Like there's all these little things that kind of you don't really think about. Try to put those things in the forefront. So again, like when I'm doing, to kind of go back to the beginning of the question, when I'm talking to Isaac, I'm making sure like, hey, microphone volume's not high. This isn't high. Because again, I want the person at the end to get the best product I can give them, whether it's with my limited resources or whether we're in a studio or we're filming with a GoPro, wherever we're doing. But I think those things are just so important. It's just like, don't lose focus. Don't get discouraged. Again, it's like your favorite show didn't just pick up and become the biggest show overnight, right? It's like everybody had this little journey and then it hits and you're just like, whoa, there's 5 years worth of stuff to look at,
Jay, you've given us hope. You've given us a to-do list. You've given us quality control. Thank you.